Hey everyone, and welcome to our February podcast and our very special guest, who is Kathy Popplewell. I'm looking at the screen here. I've just learnt after all these years, it's actually Catherine Ann Popplewell. To me, she's always been KP and a very good friend. I should do my research better than I do. I should actually find out when we first met. So I'm going to guess, and Kathy can help me here. I think it could have been around about 2005 in Byron Bay. Does any of that sort of ring a bell for you?
Yeah, 2005, 2006,
Yeah.
around that time, Byron Bay, that's right.
Cool. So, so what was interesting about that is it was one of our very first conferences and training events up there, and I got a message from Kathy saying, "Can I bring my dad?" I'm going, "Come on, who brings their dad on anything at all?" And I'm going. I even spoke to Dr. Katara. I said, "This young girl is bringing her dad." I said, "What's all that about?" And he goes, "Don't know, but it'll be really, really interesting to see the whole situation." I'm going to let Kathy let all this unravel and speak to it. So, Kathy, before we go to that conference, I want to go back before then to find out who Kathy Popplewell was and what she was doing.
Before then, we're going back like 20 years, Merv.
I know,
Can't believe it's that long ago, but
I
and it
know.
feels like lifetimes since we did that wonderful training together. Um, Back then, leading up to that time, well, so I would have been in my early 20s, what that's 20 years ago. So yeah, like mid 20s at the time. And my dad had been diagnosed with Parkinson's when I was 14. And dad was a very sporty man, and watching his journey through the Parkinson's during that period of time in my teenage years sat pretty densely in my body. And by the time that I signed up to do the training, yeah, I'd done some other training prior. I did my yoga teacher training. It was a 1 year intensive. And at the end of that course, I was back spending some time with dad again because it was always very close to my heart, and just watching the deterioration of Parkinson's disease and how that affected his life. Also brought in quite a bit of grief and heaviness and sadness for me, as well as, obviously for him, not being able to do all his social activities like he used to. And I saw at the end of my yoga teacher training, I had sort of, you do these things and you don't know what you're really getting into it for. But I just knew I had to do it. And at the end of the training, I had this epiphany that I couldn't really remember the last time I'd been really happy, even as a young woman. And like, not just like a happy moment. I did plenty of partying in my late teens and early 20s, but really it was just a distraction. You go drink lots of alcohol, work hard, party hard, have a great time out, but it wasn't a lasting happiness, not an inner happiness. So I was on the lookout. I was kind of had this awareness that that was missing from my life, and I was on the lookout for things to bring more joy in. Um, and then I saw on TV a article on the news. It was a lengthier piece on the news, and it was Dr. Kataria over in India. And it was about laughter clubs, and I didn't know much. I didn't know anything about it at the time, and just saw all these people getting together and laughing, and they were talking about some of the benefits, and I just thought that would be really good for me and Dad. I thought that
Wow.
would be really great for us, for that journey that we're on. And out of the family, so I have a brother and a mum as well. As me, dad, brother, um, and mum. And but me and dad were like closer linked emotionally, so we had that deep empathy and compassion, and we'd cry in movies at the same time and that kind of thing. And so it's like this kind of bond. And yeah, it honestly, it was a couple of years later when I actually got around to looking up laughter yoga because this was back in the early days of the internet. I feel like I've always been a bit of a lagger when it comes to technology. I was probably one of the last people I knew to get a mobile phone. I was probably pretty slow on getting onto, internet and social media back then. But when I finally looked it up, Dr. Kataria was coming to Australia to run that training in Byron, which you were organising. And I was like, I think we should go. And I asked Dad because I thought it would be really good for him with his Parkinson's and just with the way that you turn inwards because it gets harder to communicate. It's slower to get those brain neurons to transmit to what you want it to communicate to the cells to say what you want to do. It's very easy for Dad to slip away and not contribute to the conversation as much in social settings. And yeah, I feel like we'd really lost our laughter. I feel like. I mean, it's a long time to remember the details back then, but he was keen to come, and so we did. And I burnt myself out, like working really hard. Like I think I was working a few different jobs, mainly hospitality, probably a bit of office, might have been teaching a little bit of yoga as well. And I remember that I really flogged myself like to get the money together to come. And then by the time I got to the retreat, I was like, I think I hit the wall. So definitely really exhausted and really emotional by the time that we got there. But yeah, that's a bit about the background, I guess.
Nice. So have you always been into yoga and spirituality and all that sort of stuff?
I've always been into nature, and Dad was very into movement and fitness, and so I really picked up a lot of that through him, I think. And then yeah, I guess I do carry on that love of movement. And Dad was very, it was quite inspiring to me, like in the sense of he took a very proactive approach to his condition. And so, as a teenager, like I did go on some events with him when he was training in posture and flexibility and things
Oh.
like that. And yeah, it was later, it was in my early 20s that I went and did the yoga teacher training. And actually, I had not done much yoga prior to that. It was another one of those things that, like, just sat in my soul. And it's like, I came across this yoga teacher training, and it was like, you've got to do this. You need to do this for my own healing. Or and yeah, I theoretically shouldn't have been accepted into the training because I didn't meet the prerequisites, which was only doing a regular yoga practice for a year. But I cried my way in, Merv. I cried my way in. I was like, and very authentically heartfelt. I was like, I don't know what it is, but I have to do this training. I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, it's something. Yeah, there was something for me there, and there definitely was. It was a very turning point in my life. But before that, just yeah, love to dance, nature, like to be physical. Um, and that, yeah, that still continues on today.
Cool, nice. So here we all were in Byron Bay, and
Yeah.
in comes Kathy and her dad, Rex.
Yes.
Yes, Rex. I do remember some names. He stuck in my mind, and the whole event did. And Kathy and Rex come on board. And as soon as I saw Rex, I'm going, oh, something's not quite right here. So I went to Dr. Kataria. I'm going, there's something not quite right with Rex. And he said he has Parkinson's. And I'm going, oh, what's that? So that was my very first learning. I was very green in those days as well, too. I was still experiencing laughter yoga and the tribe and all the sorts of things that it
Yeah.
was. And this was my first real experience of someone with a condition coming along to do
Right.
laughter yoga. So I said to Dr. K, I said, can he do it? You know, he clearly someone with challenges, physical challenges and mental challenges. And I'm going, can he do it? He said, of course he can. So I was on a really steep learning curve with watching you and your dad, and the relationship was just beautiful. It was just clearly something special between the two of you. And when I saw you young, attractive, energetic young lady, and definitely into movement and dancing. I think you had a tattoo on your arm as well, too. This
Yeah,
was it was before tattoos were fashionable.
yeah, they're very fashionable
And I'm
now, aren't
going,
they?
wow, check this gig out, check these two people out. It was amazing. And my first recollection after that was when we'd done some laughter and Rex stopped shaking. And I'm
Mm,
going, oh, hang on, he was shaking. Now he's not shaking. So back to Dr. K, I'm going, you know, this Rex fella who I said he stopped shaking. Why has he stopped shaking? And he goes, well, we've increased the dopamine levels. So this was a really, really steep learning curve for myself in working with someone with any sort of condition. And ironically, just last week, I did my second gig for a Parkinson's group. And
mm,
it was great to be invited back again, but then wonderful to see the people connecting. You said your dad goes within, because
mm,
of their condition. And that's just not Parkinson's. That's a whole lot of conditions where people get withdrawn and become isolated and can become lonely. So,
mm.
really, really important to get people socializing again. So back to you. So what happened in that week or something that you and your dear dad were there?
Well, to be honest, Merv, I can't remember a lot of the training, but I do remember during some of the laughter meditations, just, that joy of hearing Dad's laughter. I'll
Yeah.
start crying. It's quite emotional. So, yeah, Dad passed away. Dad died the year before my daughter was born. So my daughter's 6. So, like, 8 years ago now.
How old was he then,
Eh,
Kathy?
Oh, when Dad died.
Yeah.
Um, it was 74,
Okay.
maybe.
Okay. Carry on.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So the sound of his laughter, and I can still, we did so I guess the biggest thing moving on from coming to do the training was that we decided to start a laughter club so that we had a place to laugh together and keep doing the practice because obviously we felt the benefits and just that joy of hearing him laugh and having a space to laugh myself during, quite a challenging time, um, or in difficult circumstances. So, yeah, that was really good. So, a few months later, we started a club and we ran that club for about a year. Excuse me. All the emotions. But it's good. It's that heart opening crying. Um, and because I felt it was very important for us to have a space to continue that practice for us and to share it with others. And yeah, I think I even during some of that period, I moved back to Sydney, but I would come back to the Central Coast, New South Wales every week to do that laughter session with Dad and whoever joined us. So it was really powerful and very interesting to hear the feedback from the other people. But again, like I was very new into it, so it was all. I feel like I did a lot of experimenting, a lot of laughter experimenting those first few years. Yeah, mainly on myself, and then just in sharing it with different groups of people and hearing the benefits and seeing the effect for the people. And Dad loved it. Like it really impacted him so much that even later on when I sort of had to continue on with my life and move to wherever I was, whether that was Sydney or even when I came up to far north Queensland. I'm based in Cairns now. Dad started a laughter club. He had with some other people, and he started a laughter club as well down at the entrance. Because of just how beneficial it was, and he was very interested in doing things that benefited other people as well, and sharing sharing community, sharing feel good things. um and I love it. So I really got into like laughter was a big body of my work after that for a while, after we'd done the laughter club for a year. And I started running the trainings, and that was real. I still have people write to me that did, it's over 10 years since I've run a laughter leadership training, but I've scheduled one this year, which I'm really excited to share. So I'll be doing one in Cairns this year. But they still write to me how it was like one of the best trainings that they'd participated in, and that they still really like have so many fond memories, and maybe they use it in like whatever workplace that they're in. So yeah, it was very enriching and nourishing. I did some laughter tours where I like just again wanting to experiment on the effect, how it affected me, and also share it with different groups of people. So I did some tours like up and down the east coast of Australia, from Sydney up to the Gold Coast and back. I think I did that a couple of times. And or like I did 30 free sessions in, a 6 week period. And again, like with all different types of demographics, like in fitness centers, with yoga groups, in aged care homes, with mental health groups, community groups. And it was very, yeah, very powerful and very interesting. I learnt a lot through that. And it also helped me to refine my skills as a facilitator. And especially when you do a lot of sessions in a compressed time period, really getting to really like discover what works for you as a presenter, because I believe we're all unique and different, and finding our own style. And that was a really powerful experience for me. And also just the effect on myself, yeah, noticing what effect it had.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, a lot to unpack there. So, going back to your dad, so your dad had Parkinson's. Would you call it advanced Parkinson's?
Well, dad,
When
because
you,
dad was around 50 years old when he got diagnosed, so I guess
yep.
he got what you would call early onset Parkinson's.
Uh-huh.
And when we came to the training, he was probably around midway. So dad had a 25-year journey with Parkinson's.
Yep.
um and yeah, he was, I mean, it's a progressive
Yep.
condition. I believe that he slowed down the progression as much as possible by keeping a lot of his medication at a as lower dosage, and trying to do as many health enhancing things like the laughter yoga or stretching, or like, yeah, making sure he kept up his physical activity, watching his diet. So yeah, kind of. I wouldn't really, not having a medical background myself, I wouldn't be able to say like what stage of Parkinson's you would class it as.
Yeah. The point that I'm
But
getting at,
definitely,
the point that I'm getting at there, Kathy, is he started to run his own laughter club,
yeah,
and he
even
had,
Parkinson's. Oh yeah, like later stages of his life when he was
and
running that.
that in itself is amazing. That in
Yeah,
itself is amazing. So we heard the story about how you run it with him, but then you grew some wings and flew away and up and down and
yeah,
all around as you did. And yet he
yeah,
continued on with the club, running a laughter club with Parkinson's disease.
yeah.
And
Well, starting a new
that's
one,
awesome.
like, so our one was at Foresters Beach when we did it, and yeah, he did one down at a park at the entrance. And initially, it was him and another fellow, but then I think eventually it was just dad for a bit, and then then the Parkinson's, as it progressed, he wasn't able to continue with that, sadly. Yeah.
But the fact that he actually started his own club and took it on,
Ah,
it's just
how
amazing.
amazing! It's just such a
It's,
beautiful human.
it
Yeah,
is.
really.
It's a wonderful story. It's a wonderful story. All right, so great. So let's move forward now. I knew you were great, but at laughter yoga. But tell us, why were you so great? Why were you so good at doing what you were doing? Because there's something special in each and every one of us that the laughter brings out. What was it with you that made you so wonderful in everything that you did?
Um, well, yeah, like I think, I feel like I wouldn't say like, I'm the most wonderful laughter leaguer, but I feel like I'm wonderful for like I guess the demographic that I would feel that I would be a specialty to. And
Yeah,
that would be some people that I have, have things in common with, like somebody that is a carer or somebody from like a fitness industry, mind body,
yeah,
industry background.
yeah,
Um, what else? I do a lot of women's work, so I feel like I am really good at doing women. I probably don't feel as, you know, I did do some corporate. I didn't feel like that was the area that I really shone in. But I am interested to go back there, you know, in the next few years. I think I needed to build some confidence. I wasn't really
yeah.
confident in space. So I think, life experience, I've had a lot more life experience now. So I feel like, yeah, as I start to get back into all the fields, that yeah, I will be able to stand confidently in that space. But just authenticity, being genuine, like really speaking from your heart and really caring, like just really caring and really believing in the practice. I feel like my experience with dad really taught me a lot and really gifted me a lot as a facilitator. So yeah, because of my, very personal experience with dad, and we started a laughter club specifically, so that we would have a space to both share and contribute. So very early on, I started making sure we did like a sharing circle. And that was because with dad, it was very easy for him to go. He would go to lots of group activities, so before we even started the laughter club, and go with the intention of like trying to meet people and be social. And very often, you can go to a yoga class or an activity class or a fitness class and go do the class and leave and still not meet anyone.
Yeah.
So it was really important to me to make sure every single person got a chance to at least say their name and, at least speak a few words. So initially, the sharing circle I started was just say your name and how do you feel when you laugh? And I still do that at the beginning of most of my sessions today. I want to make sure, because you don't know, how little somebody gets to connect or be seen, or at least, and even if you're very shy or feel socially awkward, you can at least say your name and, one or two words to explain how you feel when you laugh or what's an activity you like to do. So that was something I started initially. So I feel like I'm quite good, because I have a high value on connecting the group and making sure that everyone gets a place to share. And then, and then we go on to like the fun stuff and just, yeah. Because of the practice through laughter yoga, I feel like it's helped me to embody that playfulness that is part of the essence of laughter yoga. And that's really also blessed the way I facilitate everything else that I share. So, laughter yoga is now, rather than the main body of work that I do, it's like one element. However, it's influenced everything that I facilitate. So the way I facilitate dance, the way I facilitate, yeah, my women's circles is heavily influenced through laughter yoga. So that eye contact, that interaction, that getting into your body and the playfulness. Yeah, it's really blessed me so much. So thank you, Dr. Katarian. Thank you, Merv, bringing it here to Byron when me and Dad really need.
Beautifully said, and a couple of points to pick up on that. It's not a thing we do; it becomes who we are after a while.
Mm.
It sort of gets into your being and influences everything that you do. The other important thing that you said that hopefully people will pick up on is find your style and find your tribe. and
Mm.
you will shine. You will shine. You know, we all have a very individual style, and all of a sudden we start to attract those sort of people who are attracted. So my audience wouldn't be attracted to you, and your audience wouldn't be attracted to me because our style
Yeah.
is who we are and what we do. So find out who that is and go for it. And the last thing that you made is make everybody feel included. I reflected back on my online laughter club that we did just a couple of nights ago, and everybody had to introduce themselves, just 30 seconds. Who are you? Why are you here?
Yes.
And that makes us so social, so social. Oh, and then we do the laughter stuff, which is fun.
Mm.
So really good tips there. Um, I knew we would.
Actually, just reminded me, you just reminded me of something, one of the things that I guess I discovered that I really loved the most at the training. So I remember when we started that, yeah, we had, a few people share about why did they come, but we didn't take time to get around to everyone. And I was like, that was like, oh, I was really interested in that. And so that's what I do a lot of that at my different sort of events when time allows, because it takes a fair bit of time, but I just feel like it's so nourishing to the soul and the heart to hear other people's stories, and to learn why they've come. And it helps to connect us and bond us in ways that we wouldn't otherwise have known or discovered. And it really deeply moved me. And so, yeah, I do a lot of that in my women's circles, or in the 2 day trainings. We'll definitely have that as well. But yeah, thank you.
It
Sorry
is
for interrupting.
not at all, not at all. And it is that connection, and this whole disparate group of people came together in Byron Bay, and those friendships have just gone on forever. You know, it's such a social connection. So things are going well for Kathy Popplewell and booming and kicking goals left, right, and centre. Then you disappeared. Where did you go?
Yeah, yeah. I did. Then I disappeared. So I was planning to do my it was my laughter and loving life tour around Australia. That was my vision, was to like I even got myself a van. I had it all signwrited and everything. And I started on my trip, and we did the conference up in the Gold Coast. I ran my, was it, Laughter and Loving Life conference. And then, yeah, like I kept on my way and I got up to the far north, and then I never made it past the far north. So I've had a detour, a life detour for the last, since 2012. And so a lot of my stuff went on the shelf for a while there. I moved off grid, and I sort of lived remote and off grid for a significant period of time, and had a bit of a different journey, I guess. Like I feel a little bit like my life, yeah, it was like I was immersed in the laughter and the light and doing all the loving light, shining light stuff. And then I went on this like long shadow walk, kind of, dark night of the soul period. And it's during that time that, yeah, like that, yeah, mum had a brain aneurysm, and I had to go spend time caring for her. And then as dad's Parkinson's progressed as well, I also took time to spend more time with him and caring for him. And then I had a child, and so it's all been on the shelf for a while, and now I'm like re-emerging and coming back into it. And probably after COVID, like I felt like a really big, strong call in my heart. I was like, we need laughter, our world. And I'll get emotional again. So I'm really emotional today. And it's hot and it's humid up here in far north Queensland. So I'm like crying and sweating and like it's summer, all the things. But yeah, like I'm like, I need this. I need this for me in my life right now, to like come back to me, to come back to the light. The world needs this, community needs this, like especially, down where you are in Victoria, the isolation and the fear, and just to start to reconnect to our joy. So I felt that really big call then. And yeah, like I've sort of attempted, and then, mum life, I've had to put it on the shelf, and started and put it on the shelf. And like I'm getting back into it now. and determined to keep going.
Nice. Well, the laughter world is all the better for the fact that you are back, baby. I think is the term. So
Thanks, Matt.
you were a shining light before. You had this off-grid experience, and I followed
Mm,
that closely, living like in nature, and
yeah,
you go, oh my
very,
Lord, how intense
very
would that be?
isolated.
And all that sort of stuff, but all of a sudden it's just another living experience, which will only make you
Yeah,
shine even more than you do. So, Kathy, thank you
yeah.
very much for your time. All the best with
Thanks, Matt.
everything that you're about to do, because I'm sure it will be as exciting plus more, and especially the work that you do with women's groups and that sort of thing is absolutely amazing. So thanks for spending some time with us today. I've managed to keep myself together. I'm going to go off and have a little cry to myself. It's been wonderful spending time with you as always. And as always, if anybody wants to
Thank you, Matt.
contact Kathy, she is a shining light and an absolute gem. And yeah, let's keep up the good work, hey?
Mm. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks for inviting me on. Bye for now.
My pleasure. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye.